What's up, comic and pop culture fans? This is James from Menhart Comics, and today I'm going to give you the top female villains of all time. Shout out to my fiance, the greatest female villain of all time, for this video idea. It was just a joke! Guys, don't forget to like and subscribe down below. Don't forget, the 12,000 subscriber giveaway is going to be a PlayStation 5, which ironically is actually the box holding up the camera right now. I'm going to have to find a new system soon. Because this list is not exclusive to comic characters, this is pop culture as a whole, and we're going to start it off with the evil Yubaba. When Spirited Away came out, I was pretty little, but Yubaba scared the pants off me. She was absolutely terrifying, especially with her giant baby, and the fact that she tries to trick our main character at the end was just downright dirty. Dolores Umbridge from Harry Potter. The uptight bureaucrat that took over the Defense Against the Dark Arts in Harry Potter eventually takes over Hogwarts, accuses Dumbledore for needlessly endangering the students, and begins her reign over the school. I think we all knew a teacher or a principal like this. We got Asajj Ventress from Star Wars. Padawan of Count Dooku, she at times seemed more ruthless than her master. Willing to do pretty much anything, this made her a force to be reckoned with. Side note, there's some great statues made out of her. Catherine from Cruel Intentions, played by Sarah Michelle Gellar, the popular girl at school on a major power trip. She put the cruel into 1999's Cruel Intentions. Alex Forrest from Fatal Attraction, played by Glenn Close. This portrayal was chilling enough to deter an entire generation of men from committing adultery for fear of their safety and for that of their family pets too. Ready for this close-up? How about Norma Desmond from Sunset Boulevard? This forgotten film star hires a screenwriter to come back and write her epic, and is driven mad in the process, unable to believe that talkies are a thing of the future. She's so creepy, she gives Hannibal Lecter a run for his money. Marvel's Enchantress. Amora the Enchantress is an Asgardian sorceress and one of Thor's oldest and most powerful foes. She uses her bewitching powers to try to entrap others into her service, although she often just uses her natural feminine charm to accomplish the same thing. She's become not only just a Thor villain, but an Avengers villain. Next we got the Black Cat. Black Cat's a little lower on this list than, let's say, Catwoman, who will of course be on this list. Because, frankly, she's the Catwoman knockoff, but she does a good job. She's a great anti-hero, and she has a lot of redeeming aspects of her character. Makes her a well-fleshed out villain in the end. Here's a great villain based on revenge. Goldie Hawn in Death Becomes Her. She waits 7 years to wreak vengeance on her love rival. She also drinks a potion that promises eternal youth in order to seduce her ex back and persuades him to bump off her former friend. It doesn't end too great. Next up we got Grendel's mom. It's funny when kids don't look so much like their parents. Yeah, a perfectly golden covered version of Angelina Jolie was just too sexy and mysterious and downright scary. A more recent entry onto this list, we've got the godmother from Fleabag, taking a great concept that was used in Cinderella and turning it into adult comedy. In this character, you'll see some of the best villainous, passive-aggressive dialogue possibly that's ever hit TV. Next up, Audrey 2 from Little Shop of Horrors. Directed by Frank Oz and brought to life by the crew that made The Muppets, Audrey is just your average, everyday, human-eating monster plant. Often found on lists of best movie monsters, Audrey is a must-have addition to any female villain monster list. Lady Deathstrike is a mercenary and assassin best known for being the arch-nemesis of Wolverine. Her father, Lord Darkwind, formulated the adamantium bonding method that was used on Wolverine by Weapon X. She also has superhuman strength and endurance. And as we know from the second X-Men movie, she does a good job in theaters too. Cheetah, specifically the Barbara Minerva version. A great Wonder Woman villain, Minerva possesses the appearance and physical qualities of a cheetah thanks to a sinister ritual. Considered to probably be Wonder Woman's #1 nemesis, there's also a certain Snow White's evil witch energy to this, as she timelessly covets Wonder Woman's beauty and golden lasso. Next up, we got another villain here that really used her sexuality to really lure those dudes in. We got Melisandre from Game of Thrones. The Onion Knight certainly had every right to mistrust her, playing a massive part of Game of Thrones, an entire story based on deceit. She was perhaps one of the most untrustworthy.
Jodie Comer in Killing Eve. As stylish as she is deadly, this actor's portrayal of the Russian psychopath who's infatuated with Sandra Oh's Eve Polastri is guaranteed to give you nightmares. Star Sapphire in recent years has become more of a hero, but is best known as one of the early Green Lantern villains. Originally, Hal Jordan's girlfriend, Carol Ferris, would take on the identity of Star Sapphire when she became possessed by a strange gem from outer space.
Next up, we got Jessie from Jessie and James from Pokemon. Yeah, remember her? Red hair. She was just a badass chick with a penchant for some serious evil. Up next, we got Nebula. One of my favorite characters that I think had a good transformation from comics to on-screen. Like Black Cat, there's many layers to her, and it turns out she doesn't necessarily need to be villain after all. It makes her such a great character to watch, and I really love the sister dynamic that she's got going on with Gamora. Margaret White, Carrie's mom. Here's the definition of helicopter parenting gone wrong.
Cruella de Vil. You know someone whose massive plan is to skin a bunch of cute puppies was gonna make this list. Her crazy, emaciated body draped in an oversized fur coat and a skeletal face, it's just positively demonic. Also, the live adaptation I found to be particularly good.
How about Mama Fratelli from the Goonies? The only character in the movie that was scarier than Sloth. Medusa. Not even the comic version, just any iteration of Medusa ever. The fact that you look at her and she turns you into stone, pretty badass.
How about a video game entry? Frau Engel from Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus. It's not her mangled face that makes her so awful. It's her sadistic streak that twists every interaction. Watching her with her daughter is especially unnerving, a touch of humanity making her all more real and all more frightening for it. Yes, she sucks in this. Up next, the most skilled martial artist in the entire DC universe, Lady Shiva. Mother of Batgirl/orphan Cassandra Cain, she has a long history with Ra's al Ghul in the League of Assassins, though she parted from them a while back and now leads her own cult-like group of assassins. Even Batman says that he's no match. Next up, Maleficent. Sleeping Beauty didn't do that well in box offices when it first came out, but it's become a cult classic, and people have come to really appreciate the more darker Disney villain than what used to come out.
Up next, the original, the OG that scarred me as a kid, Borg Queen. Did anyone else get absolutely traumatized when they saw the scene where she is ripped out from the spine and planted into her suit? Yeah. That one's still in my nightmares. Up next, bringing it comics, we got Hela. Me personally, I have to go with the comic version of this. A little bit more ruthless, a little bit more of a force to be reckoned with, and she stood the test of time. One of Marvel's absolute best.
Alright, so pretty much everybody knows about the twist from Friday the 13th. So we gotta bring up Mrs. Voorhees. It's only natural that Jason's mom would want to punish those responsible for failing to protect her son. Her big reveal with her grin is super terrifying. Also, why does she know her way around a machete so well? Classic, creepy twist. Catherine Tremell, played by Sharon Stone in Basic Instinct. Little white dress, stiletto heels, and famously nothing else made this character go down in history as one of cinema's most seductive femme fatales.
Switching to DC, we got Talia al Ghul. Are you aware that she had, let's just say, non-consensual sex with Batman? Yeah, that's how Damian was born, if you don't know. I don't know too many villains that are so evil and so powerful and cunning that they could get away with raping the world's greatest detective.
Nina from Black Swan, played by Natalie Portman. In this movie, it shows a struggling Natalie Portman trying to secure her spot as the lead ballerina. Throughout the course of the movie, she is driven mad by her sheer obsession with the role. By the end of the movie, you are guaranteed to be creeped out. Wicked Witch of the West. Yeah, she might have a really stupid weakness, but she was pretty scary back then, and to this day, it kinda holds up. Traumatizing children for soon to be 100 years? Congratulations. Amanda Waller, aka the leader of Task Force X, otherwise known as the Suicide Squad. No superpowers to speak of, but she's a power unto herself. She's willing to do anything, truly anything, breaking every rule in the name of national security. In addition to being ruthless and disciplined, she's a brilliant strategist. She even figured out Batman's identity.
Up next, we got Go-Go from Kill Bill, Volume 1. The wool got pulled over our eyes when the whole little schoolgirl aesthetic turned out to just be a gimmick for her. She is terrifying. She will cut you down in a second.
Up next, we have O-Ren Ishii, played by Lucy Liu in Kill Bill Volume 1. If there was any character that was going to beat Go-Go, it would be O-Ren Ishii. The ultimate antagonist to the end of the first volume of Kill Bill, she is simply magnificent. The epic swordsmanship definitely helps. Up next, we have a DC supervillain here named Silver Banshee. She's a Superman villain who embodies superhuman strength and has a sonic scream known as a death wail. If she knows her target's real name, her screams will have the power to kill.
Up next, my first horror movie ever, The Exorcist with Regan. I was impressed with her child acting then, and I am even to today. I still think The Exorcist is one of the scariest movies ever, and we really owe it all to Regan.
Mother Gothel from Tangled. Much like Carrie's mom, we got another helicopter parent that can't let go of the talons in their child. Keeping Rapunzel locked up for her own selfish reasons, coupled with years of manipulation, make this for a pretty bad mom.
Up next, we got Miranda Priestley from Devil Wears Prada. Possibly one of the best iterations of an overly bossy, control freak boss. Working under her would be a legitimate nightmare. Up next, we got Harley Quinn. Of course she was going to be on this list. Harley Quinn's awesome. She's funny. She's a tragic character, seduced by Joker's awful ways in a relationship that she just can't get out of. A very relatable character that got twisted into a world of just awfulness.
Annie Wilkes from Misery. She is the stuff of nightmares, a deranged serial killer who believes herself to be author Paul Sheldon's #1 fan. She confines him to her house and forces him to write a new novel since she didn't like the last one he did. Kai Wynn. More subtle than the Romulans or the Borg, this insidious character clearly never ever wanted to serve the Prophets. Calculated and cunning, you never quite know where she stands, and she has no issue stabbing in the back. A solid, and possibly underrated, Star Trek villain. How about Samara Morgan from The Ring? What the heck, Samara? You just need to stay in that well and leave everybody alone. Samara is brought to life, and you kinda wish that she never was.
Cinderella's evil, wicked stepmother. In pretty much most iterations, I would say, but specifically, I'm going to go with Disney's Cinderella, maybe tying it with Ever After's version of the stepmother. Yeah, this is what gave the evil stepmother its title. You knew it would have to be on the list.
Next up, we have Annabelle, appearing in several movies and apparently based on a real-life doll that may or may not have been genuinely haunted. Regardless, Annabelle, even more than Chucky's bride, takes the spot as the best creepy doll in my book. Next up, we got Yzma from Emperor's New Groove, one of the most criminally underrated and hilarious Disney movies. Yzma is hilarious. One of the few villains on this list that makes it for the sole joy and hilarity of it. Yzma and Kronk together, perfect match.
Up next, the Phoenix Force. This is Stage 5 mutant danger real quick. This is quite frankly one of the greatest threats the X-Men can ever face, and it's always a blast to see it go down on paper or screen, paper preferred.
Next up, Granny Goodness. Yeah, that's a funky name, but don't let it get you down here. She's in charge of training all of Darkseid's soldiers. Yes, DC's Darkseid, probably DC's biggest bad. She's the right-hand man, or woman.
This next one goes to every straight guy's nightmare. Amy Dunn from Gone Girl, perfectly playing the overly obsessive mastermind that will do anything to never lose her man. Pretty sure when that movie came out, guys across the world took a year off from dating.
Feora, a character brought to life in the Man of Steel movie. Like Superman, she has superhuman strength, the ability to crush objects, and superhero endurance. She has X-ray, microscopic vision, pretty much anything Superman can do. Just watch her in Man of Steel, you'll see what I'm talking about. How about the Queen from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs? The original animated villain, right here. Who is the fairest of them all? Not you, bitch.
Up next, we got the Alien Queen. I actually was a little late to the Alien movies, and I am so glad I didn't stop at just the first movie, because in Aliens, the second movie, we have possibly one of the best boss battles ever, and it's the Alien Queen.
Bellatrix Lestrange. It's hard to say why she's so hated without giving spoilers away, but if you're a fan of Harry Potter, you know exactly what I'm talking about. With an excellent performance, you are waiting to see her demise the entire run. Here we got another Superman villain. We got Livewire, introduced in the Superman animated series. Her powers include the ability to control electricity and make her body a conductor of electricity. She's got a heavy metal rock and roll attitude, which really plays to this character.
Up next, Catwoman. Duh. Obviously, Catwoman's going to be on here. One of the things I like about her is she does flip and flop. But at the end of the day, I would call her a villain. She's a thief to the end, and even Batman knows it. You can't stop her. Speaking of Harley Quinn and Catwoman, we gotta throw in Poison Ivy. Yeah, she's the more attractive version of Swamp Thing. She is absolutely capable of overpowering everyone in the universe, men, women. She's a deeply interesting character that continues to have fantastic stories. I highly recommend Tom King's rendition of her, in which it basically shows she has enough power to basically control the world if she wanted to.
Anyone who's seen the movie The Help remembers Hilly Holbrook. Every time our main characters wanted something done, she was there to undo it. Stuck in the mud and stuck behind the times, Hilly's lack of compassion turned her into the ideal villain for this movie. Let's just say you are more than happy when you find out what was in that pie she ate. How about GLaDOS from Portal? She's cruel, funny, clever, and vindictive, sometimes all in the space of a single sentence. She makes you throw your only friend in the garbage and then straight up lies to you. That's not even counting all the times she's tried to kill you. And then on top of it, she caps it off with one of the most catchy theme songs ever. GLaDOS ranks high for video game villains, but also ranks pretty high in the list of greatest villains across all mediums.
The White Witch, Jadis, from Chronicles of Narnia. I loved the Narnia books as a kid, but I really did like the Lion Witch in the Wardrobe version of her in theaters. You gotta be pretty evil to sacrifice Aslan. Up next, we got Mystique. You can take it or leave it with the comics or the movies, but Mystique has been awesome. I would say specifically the original X-Men trilogy version of Mystique is just a blast to watch.
Next up is one of cinema's best bullies ever. From Mean Girls, we got Regina George. Probably one of the meanest and most unfriendly characters to ever grace the screen. She holds the flag as the classic bully for generations to come. Cersei Lannister. You knew she was going to be on this list. From incest to manipulation, this was a character that used power and words to get everything she wanted, and was genuinely terrifying and well deserving of a spot high on this list.
Up next, we got Ursula, bringing it back to Disney here. Modeled after a drag queen.
She's a witch, she can shapeshift. There's pretty much nothing Ursula can't do. And she's got all the villain checklist: manipulative, lying, deceitful, and just with the perfect amount of ugly as the cherry on top. And for my final entry on this list has to go to none other than Matilda's Agatha Trunchbull. This headmistress was something else. Yo, seriously, screw this lady, man. She was a gigantic terror. She was fierce. She was a monster. She forced kids to do crazy stuff. She did a number on me. Google the chocolate cake scene. You'll see what I'm talking about. So that's my list, guys. Anything I missed? Are there any classic evil female villains out there that you think is deserving of a top title? Let me know down in the comments. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. There will be plenty of content like this every week. And as always, everybody, keep on hunting.